A lot of people don't like it. However, the reporting has been over the last couple of weeks that you don't even know quite when that's going to be brought in now, that perhaps that January date has slipped. Can you tell us when this policy will be enacted?
It will be in January 2025.
As millionaires flee and families brace themselves, the first Labour government in 14 years looks set to raise taxes as a moribund economy limps on. Conservatives, who used to control the nation's purse strings, now watch on helplessly as the party sets about electing its new leader to take back number 10.
Tonight, both candidates face a grilling from this audience here in the heart of Westminster as they battle for the right to lead the Tory party. Tonight's audience is made up of Conservative Party members, the ones who will help decide the next leader in just 14 days' time.
GB News questioned viewers who were unanimous in their fear for what is to come when the budget is announced.
I could probably say I've thought several times about leaving the country, but I have my son here in private school, he's 10, and I have a real issue with that, obviously, bringing the 20% VAT in, and we really need to hold this government to account of actually how it's going to impact families and the children, particularly those who are SEN, and actually need that extra provision which they can't get in the state system.
If that VAT increase was levied in the budget, would you have to take your son out of school?
I have to consider, but he is in GCSE year. So what am I going to do? Pull him out in January before his GCSEs? He's going to tank. And so I can't do that. I've got to find the money.
You mentioned your son and the situation you're in with private school. Say if Rachel Reeves were to see this, what would you want to say to her before she makes her final decision?
Don't do it, because you're crucifying a child who will actually produce great results for this country. He's British, and he wants to get a good job. He wants to go on to A-levels. He wants to go on to university. He wants to contribute, dare I say, to economic growth. And if you actually continue this, this train, that basically he will suffer as a result. This is not about equality. This is about actually damaging children who are already in education, and we have chosen that. I have chosen to spend my money on privately educating him, and I should not be condemned for that.
Well, I think everyone's dreading it. You know, the Prime Minister has stated that things are going to get worse, and we have to wait and see if all the reports are correct. And it looks like it's going to be one of the worst tax-raising budgets in recent memory.
Do you think the economy is going to be better or worse shape by the time of the next election?
Worse. Look, they talk about growth. We know that the three devils that stop growth are public spending, regulation and high taxes. On all three of those fronts, Labour are promising to go in the wrong direction. More regulation, higher public spending and higher taxation.
We've got the budget coming up. How are you feeling about that? Looking forward to it or dreading it?
Looking forward with horror.
Why?
Wait and see. Wait and see.
Do you think the economy is going to be better or worse shape soon?
Much worse, thanks to Labour.
Every Labour government we've had has left the country with higher unemployment, less growth and a financial crisis. Had a financial crisis in 1976 after the Labour government, had a financial crisis in 2008, 2009 after 13 years from Labour government. They just want to spend and try and do more than governments can possibly do.
But Rachel Reeves says she's going to grow the economy.
Yeah, well, she's not. I mean, if you're going to put national insurance up, that is going to slow growth. It's as simple as that. It will take money away from businesses, and they will grow slower, and people will get less wages. And it's all there is. There's only so much money, and it's not government money; it's taxpayers' money. And if you take money away from taxpayers, they can't spend it, so the economy doesn't grow.
And when we look back on this moment in 20, 30 years, how do you think Rachel Reeves will go down as Chancellor?
Well, she'll go down as a really bad one, I'm sure.
I really believe that their budget policy is a little bit not really stick to their original promise in the general elections, which actually disappoint lots of even low Labour voter. Because I'm coming from areas where there's very Labour, And there's many of my close friends and also they displayed about their attitude, feeling dissatisfied that they feel like it's actually been betrayed. Because what their budget showing up now, before they said that, we're going to keep this and we're going to keep various kind of welfare support for the people. However, now they said that we're under a very horrendous time, and every time they try to use excuse to blame for the previous Conservative government, possibly that they should actually understand what kind of budget they can handle. But now they changed their mind completely, which means that they haven't got a clue and plan what they're actually doing. So at the moment, I believe that many people, not only for the Conservative, but also lots of voters from the Labour perspective, they feel quite regretful that they vote for Labour, which is a party that betrayed them. They haven't got the clues, they haven't got plans for anything for the country.
I dish out tax advice for a living, so I've been living this thing for the last 6 weeks, more whenever it was that this started, 5th of July, I guess. So am I looking forward to it? I'm looking forward to it being over and knowing what the outcome is, because there's sort of so much speculation. The whole thing has been sort of febrile for the last 2 months, and people are sort of reading newspapers and taking evasive action that they might not even need to take. So
would you say
yes, I am looking forward to it being over. Yeah.
Would you say your clients are quite anxious about what's coming?
I think some of them are, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, many of them are old enough to have lived through all this stuff before, so it's not. You've seen what can happen, but yes, I think they are.
When you say you've seen what can happen, what do you mean?
Well, you've lived through Labour governments before. I'm old enough to remember the ones in the 70s, so I can remember when I started doing tax work, the highest tax rate was something like 98%. It was 83 plus 15 for investments. So yeah, people have seen this sort of thing, but I don't think it's going to be anything like that. But who knows? I mean, that's between God and Rachel Reeves, I guess.
Do you have any confidence in Labour to grow the economy?
I'm sceptical. I hope they can. We're stuck with them for the next 5 years, so I hope they can.
If you were to have a hunch and you were to look back, say 20 years from now, do you think that this government will go down successfully or not?
Based on the first 100 days, I doubt it.
We all kind of know Labour's going to put taxes up, so it's a bit nerve-wracking, but hopefully the Conservatives will come in next election and fix it all up again.
Do you think Labour can deliver the growth that they've promised?
Not with tax rises.
Do you think that Rachel Reeves will go down as a good Chancellor?
No.
Why is that?
Because I just feel like increasing taxes has never ever been a good policy. I think a low tax policy is what boosts the economy and it brings in investment. 30% of millionaires are going to leave the UK, it's predicted according to the Telegraph, and that's appalling.
Obviously, a lot of our elections are fought over tax and economics, but since Labour have come into power, they've handed over the Chagos Islands, there's talk about the UN Security Council. Are you confident in Labour's ability to protect Britain's sovereignty?
No, I think giving up the Chagos Islands wasn't a good idea. I think if anything we could have compromised with them, but now we're just paying money to a Chinese ally, which is a dangerous thing to be doing in this day and age.
And if Labour were to give over more territory, how would you regard them?
I think that'd be disgraceful. I think, for example, the Falklands are very clearly British, and now the sovereignty is up for questioning. We always see Javier Milei wanting to be diplomatic about it, and this just sets a precedent that will give them up if you ask nicely.
I don't trust them at all. However, the only thing that might be positive on our side is the fact that Labour might just possibly end up doing nothing in power because they have no ideas. The only thing they seem to be doing now is just copying some of the former Conservative policies. And what I find most ironic is the former Tory policies that were being criticised, most like the Rwanda plan, they've been adapted by countries like Germany.
How would you sum up Rachel Reeves as Chancellor in one word?
Luck.
Well, she was lucky to get there, or you wish her luck?
Well, she was lucky to get there because it was supposed to be the, what was her name, Annalise Dodds.
Nicholas Dunning, GB News.